All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. And Shalom to the brothers out there preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom Barakathum. And this is your brother Uriah, man. I'm going to do a little pre-camp lesson. Just to, this will be kind of like a various topics, but the main theme of it, I was going to start with 1 Corinthians 7:30, where the Apostle Paul speaks about wives. And the reason I go there is because there's about to be a change in mode that we're going to have to embrace. You know, so like we're going to have to switch out of our comfort zone, basically, is the main point. But let me just grab it real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 30, and it says, I start at verse 28. It says, "But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you." All right. So basically what he's saying is, look, it's not a sin to get married. You know, it's not a sin to deal with women, even though your main focus should be the truth. Right. But there's a warning associated with it, right? Because women are gonna bring problems, man. That's just part of it, man. That's been the downfall of every great man all the way back to Adam, all right, which is the first example of what happens when you trust in women, or you trust in to weakness, all right, which is the side of what is that women represent. You know, now it's not evil if you are weak, but there has to be something strong and something weak, you know, and that's what women represent, that balance. Men represent strength, and women represent the opposite of it, you know, and they both complement each other. But when you get into a society that wants to convolute those things and turn things upside down, and they start off trying to equalize things, well, wait a minute, we're both the same. There's no difference. Basically, that's how the argument starts. But when you deep down dive into it, feminism, all of these underlying philosophies that guide a lot of Jake to do foolish things, you know, that's at the core of it, man. Basically, it's Satan behind it all, trying to turn everything upside down. And I'll get that in a minute. But let me keep reading. It says, verse 29, "But this I say, brethren, that the time is short." All right. And that's the main point. It's not that you're going off that you have a woman, but what you have to consider the time that we're in. You know, is this expedient? And that's what our beloved brother Paul was trying to say, man. And a lot of Christians will take this and say, "Oh, you can only have one wife." You know, not this particular precept, but the other parts in this chapter, you know, where Paul is basically prescribing, like, look, and if you're gonna have a woman, have one. And he's basically, let me keep reading, because I'm over talking the point, Salakia. Verse 29, it says, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not." All right. And why is he saying that, man? Basically, if you're going to have a woman, they shouldn't have any bearing on your walk in the truth. They should have any bearing on anything that you do. And why is that important? Because the woman is often the beginning of sin, man. You know, like, she's the root of it. So if Jake, if you don't have control over your life, you know, because of a woman, or a woman is somehow overshadowing it or influencing it too much in a way that's not optimal for you and your walk, so you don't get destroyed out here, you need to work on that, man. The woman thing is number one. That's the number one anchor to get you out of here, man. You know, and there's going to be multiple avenues that Satan's going to have to attack us, not just women, man. It's going to be our finances. It's going to be our health. All right. It's going to be opportunities to get more finances that's going to tempt you, you know. And if you're struggling with a single woman, you know, then you gotta pray and fast, man, because we really haven't been, our chin hasn't really been tested yet. No, we have to pray every day that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to renew our strength enough to do what we need to do so we don't get destroyed, and give us the strength in that day of adversity to overcome. You know? That's the whole point. But this society, all right, is absolutely against the Most High. And this is why Paul had to say what he said. Everything's turned upside down. All right? Monogamy is basically forced on you here. That's not scriptural. Is it okay to be monogamous? Sure. Most men in Israel probably did just have one wife because that's what most men could afford. Now, when you get more substance and you get older in age, you can afford to get a handmaid, and then with that handmaid, you have more kids, and then more, you know, and then maybe you take on another wife if you get your flock expands. But the average man for the majority of his life had one woman anyway, you know. But Esau comes in and says, no, you can't have more than one, and it kneecaps everything, and it destroys the family, it destroys the manhood, it destroys masculinity. All right. It takes the incentive out of it. Like if you signed a Supermax deal as an NBA player for 5 years, and a lot of that is worked in with bonuses and performances, and then year 2 comes in, and they're like, hey, you know what, actually all those bonuses that you could earn, we're going to take all that away from you. You can't earn. You can only earn the salary base. Well, what is that going to do to that player's performance, man? You know, they're not going to want to compete at the same level. And that's what Esau does with family and all of these bullshit laws that he passes. All right, he does it incrementally. All right, and before you know it, the whole thing is flipped upside down. Now you got a woman, all right, looking at you, you know, like, why you not getting in line, you know, which is completely out of order, man. But Isaiah 29 and 15, it says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us, man. And that's one of the reasons the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai set up the prophets, man, because they're not completely unseen. We see them, all right, and it's our job to shake the hand, all right, as it says in the scripture, all right, wag the finger at the gates of the nobles. That's one of our jobs, to do that, because they really are scheming and plotting against you. And Jake is so stupid. Jake thinks that the KKK is the peak of Esau's wickedness, man. No, the KKK is just a bunch of scrubs, man. This thing is not only global, but this goes on for millennia, man. This is a perpetual war and a hatred that this guy has had for us, man. This is way bigger than some black and white paradigm that Esau got y'all trapped in. All right, your birthright is kingship, man. Okay, not having a bank in fucking Babylon. Anyway, I'm digressing. Verse 16, Isaiah 29 and 16, it says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, but the work shall the work of him that made it, shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. And this is what you see this month, in which I'll do a video on it, Lord's willing. You know, Salakia, the lack of uploads this week. Lord willing, I'll do a video on a deep dive without trying to get demonetized on YouTube. On what month it is, which is June, a very spiritual month, and I believe this is the beginning of wickedness, because pride is the beginning of wickedness, man. All right, and so. Lord willing, I'll get on that, but that whole agenda is part of this turning of upside down, man. But Esau is literally doing it with everything, man. Creation's in the earth. You got a flower that has a good medicinal benefit to it. What will he do? He'll figure out a way to make it scarce, make it remote. He'll ban it. say you can't say this is medical, but he'll take the same flower, put it into a lab, chop it up, do all kind of shit to it that you can't replicate at home. All right. And then he'll say this form of it is legal, and that natural form is not. That's what he's done, man. That's just one of many forms of how he's turned things upside down, man. Not just feminism, not just this rainbow agenda, not just medicine, everything, man. He's the representation of Satan. Now, you get the definition of Satan in the Bible, it means adversary. That means everything this guy does is just to be against the Most High. He's the counterpart to Satan. We're the counterparts of Yahweh Shai, all right? Yahweh through Yahweh Shai, all right? And he's the counterpart of Satan, man. All right. So everything is adverse. This is why we have to move different. This is why Paul said that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. You know, we knew about you way back then, man. We had the scopeo on you way back then. But see, we went off again. We went into captivity. You know, you read Revelation, it speaks about those 3.5 days. You know, we were basically dead. We lost it, but we got it back though. All right, and now we're starting to remember the old ways, just like the Lord told us to do in Jeremiah, man. Remember the old paths. But Jake, y'all are rebellious. You've grown to love the upside down shit, man. You know? Now, what is the remedy for a nigga who will not accept correction, who loves wickedness, all right? And when you try to tell them to do the right thing, all right, they scoff you. You're more likely to get assaulted by a nigga than you are Esau now, man. All right? Because that's the wickedness of this place, man. I'm going to get that really quick in 2nd Esdras. I don't know how long I'm going to make this. Forgive me, I'm sweating like a pig swine in here, man. Like the AC went out in this whip. I didn't realize it. But 2nd Esdras chapter 9. All right? And let me see. Salakia for the pause. We're just trying to find it. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Salakia. Kept it 9 for there. See, yeah, this is Isaiah. This is like not Isaiah. 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways." All right, that's Israelites, because the Lord is coming for you niggas first. This is why the warning is so stern. This is why we do videos. We go out on the highways and byways. We do sit downs. All right, brothers have to read, study. You know. Also, you have knowledge. Also, you have understanding, because this is what's coming. Verse 9, it says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, you rebellious niggas, all right? And they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment," all right? So if you can't just cast this thing away, it's not enough to say, "Oh, I wasn't with white supremacy. Oh, I wasn't with the yap. I'm not with the charagma." No, that is not enough. Okay, that's not enough. All right, you have a personal test. Every single man has a personal test, a hour of temptation to overcome. All right, this is why the scriptures speak about working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, because no man can do this for you. All right, you can't just resist and flee. No, you're gonna have to take a stand on which side that you're on. That's coming soon. All right, verse 9 again, it says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment."